を流すってことですか？
もう間もなく。
ライブの方には映らなくていいんですね。
はい。
ライブの方にはチャンネル映らなくていいんですね。
ボイスの方はもうそのまま、とりあえずこのまま行こうっていう。
はい。
まあもう一度こういう、こういうことになるのも大変なので、このまま行こうということになりました。
はい。
Okay, it looks like we are live. So apologies for all of the delays. Discord was having some fun with us, but I hope we're all ready. Maybe some of you in chat could give me a thumbs up or something and let us know if you can hear me. I hope we're all ready to go. So, on the assumption that everything is working well, hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, whatever time zone, whatever hemisphere you happen to be in. I'm Vaxxer, and I'm going to be taking you through Crimson's run of Dragon Quest III, which looks like he's gotten right off the board and getting going already. Crimson-san, よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。I am reading and speaking not English. But Dragon Quest 3 super like Japanese. よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。So this is going to be a really interesting run. I think this is a manipulated run, but it's not a glitch run. We are going to see the entire game here, and it's going to go by very quickly for a Dragon Quest run. I actually didn't check if let me actually ping you guys. I just pinged to hopefully they will the tech guys will get that started. But we are into the run. We are getting going. We've got our young hero here who's from the town of Eliahan, who's woken up, gotten his mission from the king to kill the great evil Baramos, and going to go out and find some friends to help him in that task. So as I mentioned, this is a non-glitch but manipulated run. We're going to be seeing a number of things that some of those of you who've played the English version of this game may find surprising. There are a few differences, and I'll be kind of talking you through those as we go along. But just to start off here, we're going to pick up we're going to sell off all of our initial equipment and pick up a bunch of Wings of the Wyvern, which are items that let us warp to tap. Oh, I guess we're not going to be picking those up quite yet. But the first difference right off the bat here.
Fighter. Yes. Fighter HP 15. 4. Okay.
The very first thing, we're creating new characters here. The game gives you a few pre-created characters, but we want. Okay, we got the HP we need. The game gives a few created characters, but we want more. We want a greater variety. So we're creating a fighter here. We got a fighter with HP we need. So we want high HP on the fighter because that's going to be one of our main party members. Also created a merchant because we'll need a merchant for later on in the story quest. But we're going to take out the fighter we just created and two of the three characters. The wizard and the priest, or pilgrim as the original game called them. One thing, quick mention, many of you who follow the series may know, but the Dragon Quest games have gone through a number of localization changes over the years as different teams have taken on the
I am not a brat! I am not a brat! I am not a brat!
So I will mostly be using the names from the original Dragon Warrior 3 as it was released in English. Where there are major differences, I will try to call them out, but for the most part, that's what I'll be following. One thing you may already be noticing here is we're not getting any encounters at all on some of these screens, which should normally have lots of monsters on them. And this is something that is unique to not only the Japanese version, but this very specific version that we're running here. There were actually 3 versions of this game released in Japan, typically called 1.0, 1.1, 1.2. This is version 1.2, and this version has a kind of an Easter egg in which if you hold down, I believe it's the A button, A だけですよね。
A だけです。
クリムゾンさん。A だけですね。If you hold down the A button on controller 2, so normally you're playing with controller 1. If you hold down the A button on controller 2, it suppresses all random encounters. So you can just walk around the entire game for free. I don't know why they did that, but it's very convenient for speedruns, so take advantage of that. And that's why we can get through. And we're going to be seeing that we're only going to be fighting the encounters that we need to fight. And that's a large part of why this run can go. Our first, our major plot items, and and then making our way to our first grind fight.
Thieves Key.
Which will, here's our Thieves Key. Very quickly picked up, just 5 minutes into the run. And quickly make our way out.
Serious mistake.
Yeah.
No wing.
Oh, you forgot to... I was wondering when... Yes, it looks like minor mistake here. Crimson forgot to pick up the wings. When I mentioned he was going to pick up wings at the item shop earlier, it looks like that was just a little oversight because he wanted to share more of this wonderful world with you all, which I think is a totally applaudable thing to do. But that's not a big deal because we can just quickly walk out and just a quick trip back to town. And we're ready to go. So, yeah. One thing, by the way, I will mention, I was talking earlier about the differences between the English and Japanese versions. In the English version of this game, you start out, the king only gives you 50 gold, and that's all you get. But the characters you recruit at the inn, at Louisa's Inn, all have their own starting equipment. They have swords, they have armor, they have whatever's appropriate to their class. In the Japanese version, they don't. They just come with clothes on their back. But the king gives you lots of equipment. I think it's like 2 swords, 2 or 3 sets of armor. And so in this route, we just sell all of those because we're not going to be doing any random encounters. And so that is why all of a sudden, that's why Crimson's able to start out with almost 300 gold in this run, which is used to pick up a bunch of wings early. So there you'd see them on the list. Now we've got the wings. Now we're all set for going forward, and we're going to make our way into the next area of the game. So this early on, it is just a bit of a nice bit of walking. You see some of the graphics as well. The little shrine down there has a cute little cross on it. Many of the graphics were, of course, changed in the English version because Nintendo was a bit hesitant about including its religious references in their Western games, which is understandable. Family-friendly company. Yeah, obviously, of course, the religious references themselves are much different. Between Japanese and Western sensibilities. So that is the sort of thing that typically the difference between localization and translation is one way to look at it. That it's not just a simple translation of the words from one language to another. It's taking the game and saying, okay, how can we give the Western players the same feeling? And a cross to a Western player has very different implication than it does to a Japanese player. So, yep. That's where we see some of these coming from. So again, we have the A on controller 2, just blocking out all the encounters. We just walk straight through this place, no trouble at all. And it is possible to manipulate the encounters as well if you're doing a route on the earlier version or on the English version. But this just makes it so much easier. Just make our way through. So going forward, we're going to have about probably another 7 or 8 minutes, I guess, heading straight to the story stuff. But we will sooner or later, come to bosses. There are bosses in this game. We do have to beat them. It's not just Baramos. There are a number of other fights you'll have to do, and we can't do those at level 1, so we are going to have to find a way around that. Quick stop in at Romilly. This is just to pick up a return point. One thing to know about the Wing of the Wyvern is it only returns you to places that you visited before. So we want to come back to Romilly, not to enter it, but because it's closer to the next place we'll be going. So we have to stop in. You have to actually enter it for a moment. And as it happens, the distance here... oh, that was perfect. That was a first step night entrance. いや、すごいタイミングですね。
This play is not rock bomb.
So yeah. So we've made our way in here. Gonna grab a quick thing, just to kind of borrow this poison needle from the merchant. Don't worry, we will be sure to give it back later because we are good heroes. In previous routes or in other non-manipulated routes, this is where we do our first grind on enemies called bomb crags, which are out to the east of the town of Knave, which we just visited. That's another thing, by the way. Crimson's done a lot of work with this game, and one of the route changes that he came up with was the grind on bomb crags. Instead of just looking for random enemies, there is a specific area where you can fight bomb crags, which are fairly high level for this part of the game. And if you use the poison needle, you can kill them fairly safely because the poison needle has a 1/8 chance to outright kill any enemy you attack. And the bomb crags, until you get them down to low health, basically just sit there laughing at you. They don't do anything. And so it turns out to be a very safe grind. And that's one of the route improvements that Crimson did to earlier runs, and now he's come up with this even faster route where we don't worry about the bomb crags at all, and we're just going to go straight on to a much more interesting fight later. First off, we have to stop in here because we need our next key. This pyramid is definitely a very scary place to go if you're playing casually or if you're in a non-manipulated speedrun. If you don't have this this encounter cancel method that this version of the game has. Enemies are very strong. The encounter rate's fairly high. You're still very low, especially if you're on a speed run. If you're doing this as a speed run, you're going to be very low level. It's very easy to die in here. For those of you who've just come in and don't know what's going on here, this particular version of the game allows you to hold the A button on controller 2 and disable all random encounters, and so that is why we're able to just walk through this safely and not have to worry about. So the manipulation comes in a bit later, actually. There will be some manipulation in terms of the encounters that we do fight, but this is actually, whether you want to call it an Easter egg, a hidden feature, whatever you want to call it. That is a thing that we can do, and it's well known among the Japanese community. So we've made our way through the pyramid. We picked up the magic key, which is the second of the three keys that we'll get in the game, and we're also going to stop by the basement of the pyramid. Aside from the lack of encounters, this part of the route is actually very similar to a standard speedrun. In normal speedrun, obviously the magic key is a required item. You have to come here for that anyway. And then this item we're going to be getting down here, the Golden Claw, is it is a weapon, but more importantly, it sells for a whole lot of money, and that's going to be useful for getting us our first set of equipment. So we pick that up. Normally, the Golden Claw is very scary because as long as you have it in your inventory, the encounter rate gets bumped up to roughly 1 every 2 to 3 steps. So very high encounter rate, but since we can just disable all the encounters, we're all set. So just grab that, head out of the pyramid, head down to the town of Isis here, and this is I think where we're going to do our first bit of shopping. Our first menu. We're also going to pick up a wizard's ring. MP, of course, very important later in the game, so we want to have one of those. The wizard's ring, by the way, is it's an item which, if you use it, restores, I believe, 20 to 30 MP. Also has a 10% chance of breaking, and so we kind of hope that that doesn't happen. Very conveniently, the name of the game and the name of the ring in Japanese, Inori no Yubiwa, or prayer ring. Because every time you use it, you pray that it doesn't break, or that that's the way I look at it. But here we go, kind of Then borrow a bit of stuff from the castle's treasure room here. Do a bit of party manipulation here as well. And continue making our way through. So again, this is all roughly the same route that you would take. We have skipped a couple of optional quests that typically you would do if you were playing it casually, but in the speedrun, of course, we don't have time for those. We don't need the benefits we get from them, and so we just sort of skip right by. Pick that up, make our way out. And this is why we stopped in the why we stopped in the Castle of Bromley. We're also going to be doing a bit of here's where we're going to be doing our first big shopping. As I mentioned earlier, we sold all of our early equipment to buy wings, and so we need to get. So take a look at what's going to happen with the gold here, because this is what we picked up all of those chests that we've been looting here. Let's go ahead and sell, straight up to 12,000 gold. No money problems whatsoever. So this is first menu. One thing to kind of keep an eye on, by the way, as we're going through this menu. One of the things that Japanese RTA speedrunners are known for is very efficient menus, and especially in games like this that have fairly snappy menus. Just keep an eye on, especially when we get into battles later. You'll be able to see how efficiently Crimson is able to work through those menus, and I always think those are beautiful to watch. So definitely a point to keep in mind. So making our way through the Rumley, and now we're going to head off from Rumley. Excuse me. Into heading over to the town of Portoga, and this is the first mandatory, not quite a side quest. It's but it is a story quest that we have to complete in order to progress, because completing this quest gives us a ship, and you're not going to be able to get very far without a ship. So, very useful little thing. So, head on down here.
King's Letter でいいのかな?
Yes, the King's Letter. Yep, indeed. We're going to talk to this king, and he's going to tell us how much he loves Pepper and wants us to go fetch it for him. So we need to talk to him first, because there's a dwarf in a cave that's blocked off, and this particular dwarf isn't very trusting of strangers, but he is friends with this king, and so with the power of friendship, we will make our way over to the west. First, again, here we're going to pick up a little bit more equipment for our party. One of the big things as well about running many of these games, knowing which shops have what things, because there's a whole bunch of different equipment. Generally, the shops are designed for whatever level you are supposed to be at that point. But if you know where the shops are that sell the equipment you want, just bounce from town to town, pick them all up, and get on your way. So again, here we are back in Isis, which you passed by before, because this particular shop again has. In this case, I believe the English name is Clothes of Hiding. It's armor that increases your evasion rate very conveniently. So here, again, nice snappy menus from Crimson here, setting up all of our equipment. You see the attack power. That's the attack and defense that's shown up there on the screen. You can just see how quickly those numbers rocket up with our new equipment. Which is good, because we're going to be getting into a grind fight before too long, and we're going to need, we can't do that with our basic equipment. We do need a bit of attack power. So one final stop here to pick up. I believe this is the meteorite armband. これ星降る腕輪ですよね。
はい、星降る腕輪。
ですね。Meteorite armband, which is the massive agility increase. Agility, of course, affecting both your speed in battle because you want to act before the enemies, and also affecting your defense power. In the earlier Dragon Quest, in particular, your agility stat is linked both to your speed and to your defense. So something like the meteorite armband, which it's a massive agility boost, is hugely useful for that purpose, and it's gonna really help us out throughout the rest of the run. So with that all set, we are actually moving on with the story now. We need to make our way through this cave, so we're going to deliver the king's letter to this dwarf guy by the name of Norud living in this cave. And power of friendship, he's going to open the way for us eastward. And there we go.
すいません、日本語の質問で星降る腕輪の英語表記は何でしょうっていうのが。
はい、星降る腕輪っていうのは英語で、ミテオライトアームバンド。ほぼそのままですね。
ミテオライト。
はい。
なるほど。
Yes, it is, there is a lot of, a lot of interchange, which I like to see between the Japanese and the English communities here in the Dragon Quest speedrunning community, and a lot of these things that there's a lot of the strats as well. A lot of the speedrunning strats and other things that have gone between the communities. I know, in the speedruns I've done in the past, a number of things that I've picked up as well from watching Japanese speedruns. Of course, Dragon Quest is over in Japan one of the biggest, if not the biggest, speedrunning community. Dragon Quest 3 in particular, the Super Famicom version, which is actually going to be on later in this marathon. Definitely keep an eye out for that. But that is one of the biggest speedrun games in Japan. It's a hugely popular series over here. So again, here we're going to be picking up. This is an item shop, and we're picking up, among other things, spider webs for our upcoming battle, because spider web is an item which slows down the enemies, and the enemies we're going to be fighting are fairly fast. Some of you may have an idea what those are, but I'll leave that as a little surprise for when we get there. But items are surprisingly useful, especially when the game attack or support type spells. So we have finally, that was the last bit of setup for our grind, making our way to the Temple of Dhamma, the famous job-changing place. We are in fact going to be changing some jobs here, but yes, as it happens, we are still level 1. We've made our way all the way to Temple of Dhamma. Later games in the series called Dharma. I think the most recent name is now All Trades Abbey. Take your pick. They're all the same place. They're all very useful, very central locations. But we've actually finished with our setup, and here's the first bit of manipulation. Crimson is going to find a very specific encounter. He's going to be looks like he's just walking all over the place, going anywhere, could be anywhere at all. But he's looking for a very specific encounter. He's going to pull out that encounter on the first try, and that is one of the things I think is fascinating about this route. So let's take a look.
Miss. 遅かった。
Well, second try, first try. So Yes. Again, this is all. A lot of this walking is done with the A button held down. So as I mentioned earlier, those of you who've just come in, the reason we not get encounters on the map is a feature, so to speak, in this particular version of the Japanese game. If you hold down the A button on controller 2, it disables all random encounters. But there is a very specific encounter that Crimson can get here, and there's this very specific place you can get it at.
Yes!
And so he's going to walk right up to that place, and it sounds like we got it. And there it is. Yep. That is a very specific encounter. So let's see how Crimson handles it.
Okay!
And we got a kill. All right.
Nice!
Oh,
Turbital!
Double kill. Oh, wow. That is nice. So this is our single grind fight for the first part of the game, and we got a double metal slime kill. So we're going to be here for another 4 minutes. Sit back, relax, and listen to the level ups. Yeah, すごいですね。2匹で。
2匹はめちゃくちゃうまい Very happy!
Yeah, this is a fantastic start to this run. So yeah, we're going to be, I think this is going to end up at probably around level 10, 11. Yeah, one thing to point out, by the way, is how much more go in this version than the English version, because each of these lines, in the English version, each of these stat ups is typically 2 lines in the English version, and it just goes on and on and on.
あ、すいま
But
せ
here
ん
they kind of speed by. どうぞどうぞ。
サップを覚えるからラッキーっていう風に伝えていただければ
Alright,
了解
so one of the great things about getting this double metal slime kill is that it levels us up enough to learn sap, the sap spell, which decreases enemy defense, and that's going to be a huge help later on. So for the next fights we're going to be doing, so having that sap versus not having it is just a huge difference in the run. So I assume that even if he just got the single metal slime kill, he'd probably go forward. 1匹でも済みますよね。
1匹でもいけますが、ルカには覚えないことが多いです。
覚えないので、はい。So yeah, so even with a single kill, you would only do until he gets a single kill. But going on to the next fights without sap, just the enemy defense is that much higher, and you're going to lose that much more time. Right, so having this double kill is just going to save a lot of time in the next segment, and these fights are going to go nice and quick. You're going to enjoy those. So as you can see, we're getting up to about level 10 on all of our characters here. A little over halfway through now. Yeah. You probably noticed during the fight, but again, I just want to how snappy the Crimson's menus are, and how efficiently you can get through them. It's one of the things that I admire a lot about Japanese RPG speedrunners, is how well optimized their menu movements are. It's just a thing that I see a lot of Japanese runners focus on, and it really shows the work that they put in. And I think it's just beautiful to watch. And we're going to have a whole bunch more fights in this run, so it's just something to keep an eye on, to enjoy as the run goes forward.
この間に洗濯バサミをつけます。
So yeah.
海外に洗濯バサミってあるんですかね。
あ、ボタンのですよね。
はい、ボタンの固定に使ってます。
Right. So yeah, one thing. So Crimson is just out during this level up. One thing he can do is stick a kind of a clamp on his A button. So instead of having to hold it down Just clamp his instead of having to clamp his hand down on the A button this whole time, just stick a clamp on it, and like a paper, large paper clip, a paper holder sort of thing. Anything that will just hold the button down, and you can just sit back and stretch. So a nice quick 4-minute break in the run, and we are ready to go on. Yeah, I'm sure everyone has their own thing. I remember I used to put my keyboard when I was doing runs of this. I would wedge my controller under my keyboard, let my keyboard do the work. Many things you can do with the A button. But we've made our way through.
Next corner.
So so that was just it's a quick use of place to save, and because Luila doesn't actually change your save location, that's a very quick way to get back to Dama and make our way on to the next part, because now we're going to have our first actual boss fight. This is the first real boss fight in the run. Mandatory, well, it's 2 mandatory battles, just a regular henchman battle, and then a battle with Kandar himself. And obviously there's no way you can fight those at level 1, so that's why we had that metal slime grind fight. And again, having the 2 metal slimes means we're going to be able to sap Kandar, which is going to make the fight go so much more smoothly. But nice and easily making our way through, again using second controller to disable all the encounters. Just walk straight up to the jail where the pepper cellar is held. Also, loot the thieves' treasury, because we can make better use of it. Again, several of these items are seed items. I'm going to be using those to boost our character stats. 2 on agility there, it's not bad. 3 on HP, which is not great, but we'll take it. Anything helps. And make our way down and do our first good deed for the day. So here are Kandar's henchmen who try and stop us from breaking into their hideout.
抜かりがない。
Uh-oh. Oh dear. Well, that is a thing. So, yes. So, one thing to know about spells in this game, it is random whether you learn at the level at which you learn them. So normally, by level 10, we should have sap. In this run, apparently we got the bad RNG. We don't have it, so we're not going to be able to make use of that, which is unfortunate. But we can still make it through. It's not mandatory there. It's just just helps speed things along. But as you can see, that fight went really quickly. The one thing we'll want it for is Kandar himself. As you saw, the henchmen go down quickly no matter what. But Kandar has obviously higher defense. He's the boss. So we're just going to have to push on through. First off, of course, going to rescue the Pepper Cellar and his beloved, and help them on out. Oh no! We've been discovered! Well, we'll have to do something about that. So here we go. So one thing also, by the way, I should mention, is so let's see how these first couple of rounds go. I don't expect Kandar to prove too much of a problem here. You will notice Crimson canceling his menu selections as he goes through. You're going to see it here. Make 3 selections, back out, and then do more menus. This is what's known as the parry glitch. If you select the parry option, which is what he's doing, the third option in the menu, and then cancel it, the parry effect stays. And so you can do that. Basically, the first 3 characters, you can get half damage on every turn and still act. And it's just, it is pretty standard in all Dragon Quest III speedruns, just because it makes things so much safer. It lets you run through at much lower levels than you would be doing otherwise. So, yeah, we can see not having sap is unfortunate. We're not going to be able to get out as much damage as we would otherwise. You'll see you're getting 26, 13. We would like to be seeing 40 or thereabout, but we have to run with what we got. So again, as you can see, it's still not a particularly dangerous fight. It just takes that much longer without sap.
祈り壊れないで。祈り壊れないで。
So again, here's where we want to pray that the prayer ring does not break. Let me use it.
Break, 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 break.
And we are safe. Yep, and I just need to make our way through the rest of his HP, and this fight should be pretty much done.
Nice crits!
Yeah, there's a nice crit, nice Kaishin.
会心の一撃。
Yeah, that's something, by the way, that has come across from the Japanese community. The Japanese term for critical hit is Kaishin no Ichigeki. And that's something that I know a lot of English runners will say as well whenever a well-timed critical comes at us, say, nice Kaishin. It's just one of the ways that the communities are kind of connected, and I think. The one thing I will mention about Kandar, the reason why this fight takes so much longer without sap, is because this game, Kandar and a lot of other bosses have automatic healing between turns. You don't see it. It's not displayed, but Kandar, I believe, is around 50 HP per turn. There we go. So finally made it through. But it's not just the extra 10 or 20 damage per turn. It's that much on top of having to counter his automatic healing every turn. So if you're doing 60 points a turn, he's healing 50. You're effectively only doing 10 a turn. If you add 20 on top of that, all of a sudden you're going 3 times as fast, and that is the difference sap makes. That's why it's so unfortunate that we didn't get sap after the double metal slime. But as you see, we still made it through. A little bit took a little bit longer than we would have liked, but ultimately we're on our way.
No MPs, no outsides.
So unfortunately, we used up all of our MP trying to get that kill, so we don't have enough MP to use the outside spell. We're just gonna have to walk our way out, but it's good exercise, so always use more of that. We do, of course, have still have the prayer ring, usage ring, but we don't want to risk breaking that any more than we have to, and so we're just going to take the walk and then head back. So here the
getting the ship.
Yep.
いいのかな?
Pepper Seller's return. He's given us pepper as thanks, and we're going to take that to this pepper lover of a king, and he's going to reward us with our very own boat. So this is going to open up the world. Obviously, this is what we need to kind of move on to the next phase of the game.
こっちでいいよ. 向こうでもいいよ。どっちでもいいよ。業務連絡なんですけど、例のやつ、
はい。
最後のワールドのところ、本部で打ってもいいんでしょうか。
あ、
バラモスの。
じゃあ、行ってきます。はい。
いいですか？
一応伝えておきます。
はい。じゃあ、返信待ちということで。
はい。
返信待ちということで。
はい。
じゃあ、分かったらお願いします。
はい。了解です。So yeah, so here we are. So we've made our way to the village of Su. It's the first, typically the first town you find on the once you head out on the ship. Among other things, sells the invisibility, which is critical for getting a particular key item that we'll need. It's also a good stopping point for our next grind, which is going to be coming up very shortly. Also sell off some of our old equipment that we used for the last couple of fights that we're not going to be needing anymore. Because after this next grind, we're going to be much higher level and we're going to get much better equipment.
Let's see. のズボンに行きます。海の上で使うと、エフェクトがちょっとカットできます。
Yeah, quick little optimization here. The invisibility or effect that occurs when it shows your characters becoming invisible. If you use it while you're in the boat, that effect gets skipped, and so it just saves a couple of seconds. Now, all these little optimizations that runners find and add into their routes. It's always a lot of fun to see these things that they come up with. But as you see, we are now invisible. The guard can't see us to block us out from getting in, and we can go straight to this little stairway here. It's basically that effect in reverse is what we were able to skip by using the invisibility herb on the boat. So fun little block puzzle here. We all love block puzzles, so watch this nice optimized route, which I believe also is also a Japanese runner who came up with this. It's always nice to see these what seem like these very odd positions to leave the blocks in, but it turns out that actually, that's the most efficient way to get the blocks where they need to go. And just all fits together very nicely. And you see, we end up right on the right side, which is where that door opens, and we're able to go right over to this treasure chest.
ハグで入ります。
So that was our last bit of setup. We're going to head into that was our last bit of, I should say, story progression for the moment, because we're going to head into our next set of grind fights, and this time it's not going to be metal slimes. It's going to be a different metal. So again, you see here doing our quick save at Luisa's place. The reset will take us back to our last actual save location, which I believe again is Gama. Yes, it is. We head out there. We're going to actually start out from Su again.
Okay.
Same place we just visited, and make our way over to our grind spot. This is where we're going to be for a little while.
Runs away.
Oh, there we go. Oh, well, that's what metal enemies do. So yeah, this again is a manipulated. Crimson knows exactly has worked out. That's get a metal babble at exactly that spot, and so we're just going to fight. We're actually going to fight, I believe, 5 of those in total. Hopefully just 5. So there's it's kind of two factors. One is that we want to get up to around level 2021. The other one is we're looking to ultimately get the by-kill spell. So didn't get quite the right encounter there. One thing that we do have to be very careful about: extra steps on the overworld will consume randomness, which is a kind of odd phrase if you're not familiar with it. The way random numbers work in games like this is there's essentially a randomized list of numbers. Think of like a deck of cards. The game shuffles this deck of cards and pulls one card off the top for each step you take, for each random thing you do. And if you know ahead of time, because you've manipulated it, what the deck of cards looks like, you take exactly the right number of steps to get to the point you want, you will always get the same battle, and that is what that's what Crimson is doing here.
Metal bubble hunting is 5.
Yep. Yep. This is the thing. As we know, all the metal enemies. Fortunately, this is not too far away. It's not a
nice.
And of course, a manipulated fight, so we know where we can get it.
No!
But we just have to hope that it doesn't run away. And sooner or later, we'll get the kill. Either we can work through. I think it's 5 or 6 MP. Oh, we got the nice. We got the poison needle. Poison needle proc, and we're gonna get a few more levels here. So this is first of 5, hopefully 5, and it's gonna have a few more levels here.
Ah, とりあえず1匹狩れるわ。
It looks like we're going to be getting to around 14, 15 on all of our party here. Obviously, these level up sequences will become much shorter as time goes on because we won't be getting as many levels with each fight.
バックサウさん。
はい。
英語版と日本版では日本版の方が経験値が少ないって話はされました？
そうですね。まあそれをちょうどいいですね。So one thing also to mention, Crimson was just calling out as well, is that there's actually a difference in experience between the Japanese and English versions. The English version, all enemies give 33% more, so 1/3 more experience than they do in the Japanese version. So it's one of those things that in the day, I mean even now sometimes as well, but particularly in the day, many companies made decisions about does the West want games easier, does the West want games harder, etc. And for this particular game, they decided to just bump up the experience of all enemies by 1/3. So we the flip side is that playing the Japanese version, and that means it takes slightly more to get to a certain level than it does in the English. One other point, actually, it's in that same spirit, is that in the Japanese version, the amount of experience you get from a single battle is capped at 65,000. Well, 65,535, so 16 bits. As many numbers were in those days. In the English version, it's not. That doesn't matter in most fights, but later in the game you can get 2 or 3 medal babbles. And in the end, if you kill 2 medal babbles in the same fight, then even in Japanese version that would exceed the cap, and so you wouldn't get the full experience from the second kill. And if you killed 3, you wouldn't get any at all from the third. Whereas in the English version, you do get full experience from every kill. So I imagine that was something when they increased the experience cap. They realized that some fights would start hitting that, or increase the experience rate by 1/3. They realized some fights would start hitting that, and then said, "Okay, well, let's fix that. Let's remove that cap." And they did.
4
You gonna get it?
最低 HP5 です。5もしくは6。
Oh no. So that's very unfortunate. So you got 4 damage and didn't kill it. So enemies in this game have random starting HP. And Metal Babble, the base HP for Metal Babble is 6. So I believe 6. So it can have anywhere from 4 to 6 HP. Sometimes you get one with 4 and you can kill it pretty quickly. Sometimes you get one with 5 and you do 4 damage and it runs away, as we just saw. But in those cases, you just have to kind of sigh and say, "Oh well, we'll get it next time," because we will. That's how these things work.
赤い台が多いですね。入力を失敗しているか、データの状態が良くないか。残った。
So again, the timing is very critical. Will we get the damage? Will we get the kill?
3 4 5
Okay. Well, that is a Metal Babble. That is why we love this game.
残った。ナイスクリット！5 times crit!
There we go. Well, no Metal Babble is going to be able to withstand the crit, so that is a kill.
雲糸が余りますね。余った雲糸はジャイアントタイタンに使います。
So I called out the spider web. Yeah, it looks like we may have some end up with some spares, in which case we can use them in later fights. Again, saving here because the reset is part of the manipulation. Also, by the way, I like to call out the very spare title screen there. Play the English version, you probably know it's got a big animation with Ortega and everything. The Japanese version, they actually didn't have as much space on the cartridge as the English version does, and they ended up without room for the title screen. So all you get is Dragon Quest III and your menu. But my understanding is actually Japanese players back in the day
nice.
had a good impression of that. Said they could tell how much the developers squeezed into the game by the fact that it was such a spare title screen, which I think is a nice way of looking at it. 3 there.
Hi! Yeah!
You're gonna get this kill. 4. It stayed.
Yes!
We got a kill, alright. Alright. So that went much more smoothly. So, it's all it takes. Just gotta get that, get those few hits in, and yep, got your levels. So that was the third of 5.
ニコニコ見てるよ。ニコニコ見てる。
クリムゾンさん、興味なく、バラマス OK です。
OK。ありがとうございます。
はい。
ニコニコの皆さんに、本部で、ワールド行っていい許可がおりました。よろしく。
Yep. So that's just checking in with Crimson there. Gonna have a little thing for you later. But first, we have... actually, first we have an in because we do take a bit of damage from the... And, it doesn't help. Can't level very well if our characters are dead, so gotta heal that up. And once again using Luisa for the quick save. Yeah, I will say, having played the English version a lot, it is so refreshing to see how quickly the text goes in this version. You can just really quickly page through all of these dialogues, whereas the English one is just so much slower because of the longer text.
言っても赤番されないよねって言ってる人がいますけど、大丈夫ですよね。
大丈夫ですよ。まあ、例のあれが入らなければ。
なんて言った!
なんで言ってた。
いや、早い!
Wow, that was a nice kill. Nice Kaishin. That is gold split level right there. That is what we want to see. So that's a 4th of 5, and now all we see is we want to see the buy kill, because buy kill is going to carry the rest of the run. And as I was mentioning earlier, there is some randomness as to when you learn spells in this game. Buy kill can be learned by wizards anywhere from level, I believe, 21 to 23. Or 24 possibly. If you don't learn it before 24, whatever the cap is, it's guaranteed then. But up to that point, it's 50% every level. So we're going to go get this next kill. We're going to save here, obviously. We're going to reset, get the next kill, and we're going to look for the best that says the wizard learned the spell. And if we see that, we're good to go.
So
for those of you who have played more recent versions, you probably know the spell is Oomph. There's a change in localization, but let's first see how this goes. We want to see that. We don't want to see the Metal Babble run away, but those things happen. So we'll just have to go back and catch him a second time. Yes, there is a. I believe it was around Dragon Quest VIII. They changed localization companies, or there were changes in the localization as a whole, and they decided to go with a different style of spell names. So things like in this game we have Inferno's
Nice.
Inframore, Inframost, for example. The newer games we have Whoosh, Whoosh, Swoosh, Swish sort of thing.
いい。
We gotta get a kill here.
4。
Ooh.
ラストラストラスト。ラストバブルメタル。メタルバブル。
Yep. Oh, yeah. Always tries to make it hard. So yes, as I was saying, the spell name changed, and by kill in the newer games is oof, but it is the same spell. And then there are those of us who have played the original, grew up on the original, probably are more have a bit of nostalgia attached to those older names. Ooh, yeah, that's one step off.
残り経験値が2000ほどなので、オロチでも大丈夫なんですが、魔戦の経験値が足りなくなります。
You know, the issue here is that so our experience is pretty much fine here, but we obviously we want bite kill. We also need. It sounds like we may be a little bit short after the Orochi fight. We'll see how that goes. But, right here, let's see if this Metal Babble will have a. We'll have another run. This guy is just having fun with us right now, isn't he? 遊んでますね、この人。
はい。今、船を漕いで逃げられてるだけなので遊んでます。But it is convenient that this Metal Babble fight is as close as it is, and so it really is just a quick reset if we need to do it. Especially if this is where that nice quick title screen comes in handy. Don't have to page through several screens of animations and all of it. Just go straight into the file select, straight into the game, and then straight out and into the ship. It's really nice and quick and refreshing to see a game that you can restart this quickly. 残った。
お。
1、2、3、4、5。
お。お。
ナイスナイスナイスナイスナイスナイス。
お。Okay. So, we're gonna get by kill. We're gonna get by kill.
覚えた。
覚えた。
いや、
We got the by kill.
キャダルコの可能性がある。
Yeah, we have to check which spell it is. That's right.
Back it!
We got it. We got it. All right. Yep, there it is. By kill. We got by kill. We are all set. That is the grind done. That is the final grind of this run. And now we can just go straight on forward with the rest of the story. Fantastic stuff.
ようやくですね。
はい。お待たせしました。
So, yep. So picking up where we left off before, we're now going to head off. This next part of the story, for those who aren't familiar with this game, next part of the story, we're going to need to pick up 6 orbs to awaken the legendary bird Ramia, and so that is what we're going to seek out right now. And it's very interesting. Each of the orbs has a very unique way of getting it. We did make a quick stop over there in an island that looks suspiciously like the country of Japan. Has a town, interestingly enough, named Jipang on it. Wonder why that could be. But before we head back there, we're going to make a quick stop over here, pick up a Leaf of the World Tree. Very important item because lets us revive characters. One thing that a lot of, if you've played Dragon Quest, especially some of the earlier Dragon Quests, you will know that it's very difficult to revive a dead character in Dragon Quest games. And so having those revival items is just a huge benefit. So we do make that extra stop right here before continuing on with our next step. So here we're using the Vase of Drought. This is the item that we got from that block puzzle earlier. This is going to give us the final key, which, as its name implies, the last of the 3 keys that we will get in this game. You can unlock any door. In fact, later on we will be disposing of our other 2 keys, the Thieves' Key and the Magic Key, because we don't need them anymore. This final key will do all of the work for us.
Next blue orb.
So next up is going to be the blue orb, the first of the 6 orbs that we need to collect. And these first couple are pretty straightforward. You just need to head to their specific locations, pull them out of chests. After that, things get a little more complex and interesting. So blue orb here. This is an interesting location because it's in a dungeon, but this particular dungeon requires you to go in alone. You see a priest up here says tells you to test your metal, if you will. But fortunately, we have the encounter skip, and so it doesn't really matter. We just take any one we want and walk straight up to the chest. So I will, for those who've come in recently and maybe hear the earlier explanation, this particular version of the Japanese game, there is actually a hidden feature in which if you hold down the A button on controller 2, all random encounters will be skipped. And so as you see, there's supposed to be encounters in this dungeon, but we're not going to get any because Crimson is just holding down, I assume he has probably clamped down at this point, the A button on his second controller. And so we can just walk straight through, pick up all the chests we need, grab a bit of gold for some later shopping, and make our way down to the blue orb.
大地の鎧は取りません。
So no armor here. There is a forget the English name. It's been a while. There's a fairly good set of armor we can get down here, but we actually won't end up needing it, and so we're just going to skip that. Go straight to the orb, pick it up, and make our way forward. Because again, the only fights we're going to be fighting point forward are boss fights. We've done all our grinding. We have no random encounters. And so all we need to set up for are the specific boss fights, and we've already got those in hand. Terra Firma, yeah, I think that rings a bell. That might be a newer name, actually. But yeah, that sounds like that is the item name.
ニコニコ用ですが、プレイヤーは日本人です。それを、ツイッチでミラーしてもらってます。Next Green Orb, head on.
Armor of Terra Firma, okay. That would be it then. Thank you, Evil Countess, for confirming that. So yep, next up we're going to get the Green Orb. This is another one that's just a really quick pickup. The one catch is we have to make sure we do it at night, but of course, Crimson has routed this all out very precisely to make sure that it is night when we get there.
Cup of Force and Magic Cloak.
So also picking up some of our equipment here. The Magic Cloak, of course, important because it has, as the name implies, has magic defense, reduces damage from magic spells. And most of the fights going forward, we're going to have to deal with some variety of magic attacks. So having this, and I believe we're also going to get magic armor as well later. So having that defense.
Next red orb.
Right?
Next red orb.
Ah, yes. So we've got our green orb, and now we're going to get on to start seeing. Some of the boss fights that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, those first two are nice and quick, but now we have to start actually doing a bit of work for our story progression. Can't get everything for free.
プレイヤーが日本人、プレイヤーが日本人で、実況解説が、英語の方です。ニコニコ用です。クラッシュチェンジ。まだ早い。ミステイク。
Okay, so there's our. Okay, so the red orb was also mostly free. It's the ones after that. Yeah, I will admit, when I was doing speed runs of this game, I was actually glitched route, which skips probably the middle 80% of the game. So I admit I am a little bit rusty on the orb pickups. It's been a while, but yes, we now have 3 of the 6 orbs that we need: blue, green, red, and now we're going to make our way back over to Dama. A quick stop here for the変形についてここでしたっけ？
はい。なんですか？
変形について
変形の杖じゃなくて、ラーの鏡を取ってから変形の杖。
Ah, okay. So yeah, I was thinking a little bit ahead. We're going to be doing there is one of the orbs requires a fairly long sequence of item exchanges. We're going to be doing that in just a bit. But first off, we are going to have our class change coming up next. But before that, since it's right here, I'm going to pick up the Mirror of Ra.
Nuts and gold.
And gold.
Yes.
So do the glitches work in this version? Yeah, the glitches that are used in the glitched run, they do work, not quite in the same way because some of them are dependent on the specific layout of the game's memory, where the game stores different things, and you have to use a different setup for this version, but it is possible. I was actually routing that out myself just for fun, but it turned out the route I used would not work very well and just be very slow. The Japanese runners have a much better route for it. So here's our Mirror of Ra. Make our way out, and this is where we're going to do our class change. So the one and only class change we do in this run. Keep an eye out, by the way. Another graphic change between the Japanese and English versions. Come up here, and we don't see that symbol. It's called the Manji symbol. In Japan, it's well known as a symbol for a temple. In English, of course, that's just not part of the culture, and so they took that out, which is again a perfectly reasonable localization change. But we now have a what's often referred to as the magic soldier, the magic knight character. We took our wizard and changed him into a soldier. And so when you change classes in this game, you get reset to level 1, but you do keep any spells that you've learned. So our wizard who learned by kill is now a soldier and will now also be able to equip like good weapons, deal damage, but also use by kill. And so kind of fulfilling 2 roles there. And it's going to be a big part of our damage, our strats going forward.
英語だとできるかどうかわかんないですけど、日本だと昼にボストロール倒せます。
はい。多分できたと思います。So yeah, so this is our next ore. No, this is not the next. This is the change that we're picking up now. The staff change is guarded by a boss, a boss troll, as it happens. Normally, you can only find this boss troll at night. If you come here during the day, there's nobody in the bedchamber, nobody here. But if you use the Mirror of Ra, which reveals the true form of things, surprise! There he is, right up at the screen. So this is our first boss fight in a while. So again, by kill is gonna make a showing right away.
Nice greats.
And yeah, it looks like this fight's gonna go. Yeah, this fight's going really well.
2 down.
But yeah, by kill. Kind of as the name implies, by kill literally doubles your damage. Just straight up doubles all damage that you deal. Well, physical. It doesn't double magic, but physical damage. Which is why it is such a powerful spell, why it is so important in the speed run, and why it's so great that we got it first try earlier. So yeah, again, with the 5 middle babbles, actually a bit ahead of where point in the casual run, and so these next few bosses are going to go down really quick. A bit of leveling here because again, as I mentioned, with class change, you reset to level 1, and so the next boss you fight is going to give you a whole bunch of levels. So right away, it's a big boost to our stats. Pick up the Staff of Change, and this is the beginning of a big item exchange sequence, which will eventually lead us to the Silver Orb.
Next is Silver Orb and Orochi.
Yep. So we picked up the Staff of Change, and now we're going to take that to an old man, a remote location, collector of things, I suppose. He's going to exchange it to us for a sailor's thigh bone. I always thought it was a fascinating name for an object, but that sailor's thigh bone is going to enable us to break a curse. Make our way forward. So again, with the quick warp, the return spell taking us back here to Romilly, which is fairly close to where we will find this ghost ship here. The sailor's thigh bone, by the way, is the item that makes this ghost ship accessible. If you don't have it, the ghost ship is still on the map, but it's forced to 128 steps horizontally from where you are, and so you're never able to reach it. It's an interesting little trick that the developer used to save some work on their end. But we've now made it through that and found the sailor's. Memories of Love. I forget the item name, but again, this is This is another key item that will let us break a curse, which is blocking the way to get to the silver orb. Make our way through this channel here. Very precise navigating by Crimson here. And there it is. The curse broken. The past lovers reunited. And the Sword of Gaia in our hand. So this Sword of Gaia is the final bit of this item exchange sequence. Going to make use of shortly. And that will unlock the path to the Necrogon, which will in turn take us to the Silver Orb. I suspect for many people, certainly for myself, this was the last of the 6 orbs that we got, just because there are so many steps. So you throw the Sword of Gaia into the volcano. Volcano explodes. And you're going to see a bit of an eruption here. The lava's going to come out. And very conveniently, it's going to give us a path to get down to that area down there. Very kind volcano. Very pleasant of it. And you can almost see it on the left over there. It's where we are. Where we'll be going much later in the game, but that's a little bit farther off. Can't quite make it onto that tiny little island yet. Instead, we're going to make our way through the Necrogon. And if you don't have the encounter cancel, this is a scary dungeon. There are some very hard-hitting enemies in here. It is very long. As with most games of this era, you can't save anywhere in the dungeon. You have to make it through in one pass. If you're doing a speed run on any version without this encounter cancel, you're probably going to have a bad time. But for this run, we just need to know where just need to not get lost, and I'm sure Crimson is up to that task. Picking up some good equipment in here as well. This was the Thunder Sword that we just picked up. It's a big attack upgrade.
Silver Orb 取った後はオロジに直行します。
Make our way through here, and again, this is all part. This is the 4th of 6 orbs, and once we get this, it's just straight on to the last 2. So this is again, you can see if you're playing this and you don't know where everything is, you can tell how much of a hard time you're gonna have getting through here. It's one of the fun things I think about these as well. If you're playing it, just trying to find your way through, trying to stay alive, pushing through all of it. I know I enjoyed it as hard and as frustrating as it sometimes was, but it was enjoyable. So I consider that good design. Finally making our way to the last bit here. I believe this will actually just take us straight out, this final.
ここは、英語版では十字架ありません。
There we go. That's the final thing. Make our way into the shrine. You know, again, you see the all of the crosses here. Those were changed for the English release. Again, the religious imagery having a different kind of symbolism. It's not as as focused, one might say, to Japanese runners. It is just kind of a generic symbol of religion as opposed to a specific reference to Christianity that the Westerners would get from it. So with the Silver Orb, we just went straight from there. I mentioned earlier that we passed the island of Japan. You may have noticed that Crimson made a quick stop, just ran right into the town and right back out as we passed by, and that was so we could return here after the Silver Orb and just immediately get into this next dungeon. We're going to go in here. I'm going to fight Orochi. Dragon over here. And again, this is probably a little bit higher
Nice
level
beats!
than you would be. Oh, nice!
Nice beats! Yes!
Oh wow! So as I was saying, that was a really fast kill. That was a really fast kill. As I was saying, this is typically a higher level for this dungeon anyway. But with the double crit, with the double kaishin, that's not going to take any time at all. Again, since we did just class change from wizard to soldier earlier, that second character is getting a few extra levels. So the gimmick here is that this monster, the Orochi, was actually posing as Queen Himiko of Japan, who entreats us to remain silent about her nature so she can continue terrorizing the villagers, but of course we're not going to do that because we're heroes, and we also need her orb. And so the second fight, which is just going to be the same thing. See if we get the double kaishin? Probably not. Probably not going to be quite that lucky, but again, this is not a difficult fight for our current levels. Especially since we also have by-kill.
Ah! Okay.
There we go. Yeah. So pulling out that fire, but we get through this fight. Yeah. And with that, a new day will dawn, as it does. And as it happens, she also had a purple orb, and so we're going to take that and make our way forward. So that is the 5th of the 6 orbs that we need. The final one actually doesn't exist yet. We have to kind of pull it out from the ether. So first off, quick in, because it takes some damage in those Orochi fights. Fire can be painful. So take care of that. And now we're going to pull out the merchant. So way back in the beginning of this run, Crimson created 2 characters. One of them is the fighter, the character here, that's at the front of the party. Also created a merchant character, and now we're going to invite that merchant character to come along with us, because that is the key to unlocking our final orb. There's there is what is currently just a big plot of open land. There's a fellow there who would like to build the town. This, I think, was the first of the the kind of the towns that you build up. It's right over here. We saw the fairly common reoccurrence in later games. Start from nothing and slowly add people to your town until it's a big bustling place. That will sometimes give you end game items. And here we have one thing we're doing here is you see Crimson transferring a bunch of items over to this merchant character because what's going to happen here is we're going to have the merchant stay here to help build the town. Merchant's going to leave our party, but when the merchant leaves the party, all of the items that they have will be sent back to the vault in Leahan. And normally, if you try to use the vault, there's like these big long dialogues say, do you want to leave the item? It's going to cost so much to pull it out again. And we don't want to go through that. So we just take all of our key items that we no longer need, leave them with the merchant, and have the merchant send them back. And it's just a nice big time save for that.
この先は魔法の鍵全部開くので大丈夫です。
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier the Thieves' Key and the Magic Key we sent back, for example, because we have the final key. The final key will open all doors, not just the jail-type doors. So we don't need the Thieves' Key, Magic Key at all, and we can just send it out. So you saw Crimson kind of stepping in and out of this town, and every time you re-enter the town, it grows a little bit. So in those few steps, all of a sudden it's become this big bustling marketplace, which just happens to have a yellow orb hidden in it. So that is our final orb, and at last we can now awaken the legendary bird.
Next, vamos! The final boss!
Yes. Unless we can make our way to the final boss, the great Baramos, who, if we recall, way back in the beginning of the King told is threatening to take over the world. We certainly cannot have that, so awaken Lamia from her sleep, and have her take us to this final boss's hideout.
間違えた。
Jump outside. And click in to refresh our magic, and also need to pick up the one character that we left behind earlier, since we needed to borrow our merchant for a bit. And also pick up some herbs, because herbs are very useful items. You never know when you need to have a little bit of extra healing, so carry them along.
Let's go!
I do see a couple mentions of talk about remaking this game. I agree. A remake of this game in the modern system would be very cool. But technically speaking, there was already a remake that was done on Super Famicom, dragging the original trilogy 1 through 3. They were not released in English, only in Japan. But some of the more recent versions, such as the mobile version, I believe also the Switch version, are based on those Super Famicom remakes. So those are, remakes in a sense. They do have upgraded graphics as far as that generation goes. And we will be having both Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 3 Super Famicom runs later in this marathon. So definitely keep an eye out for those as well. But here we are, the final dungeon. Making our way through here.
find that Baramos and put him in his place.
勇者の NP があるので犬の NP は取りません。
So we have so there is an option here. There is an extra wizard's ring that we can pick up in this dungeon. Depending on the hero's MP, you choose to pick it up or not. In this particular run, the hero actually has a bit of extra MP, and so we're going to skip that wizard's ring. Just go straight to Baramos. Again, using the second controller feature to avoid all of the random encounters and just get straight to where we need to be.
すいません、バラモス戦の解説をお願いします。
Right. So we're actually getting there, and this is actually fight because Baramos is very strong. The one thing we have going for us is that Baramos has a fixed turn order. Baramos has a sequence of 8 actions, takes 2 actions per turn, but the sequence is always the same. We know exactly what Baramos is going to do every turn. We just have to be able to deal with it. So, the other catch is that Baramos will recover 100 HP every turn. So we have to, in order to take him out, we have to be able to deal a lot of damage at once, which means we need our bike heals up. We need to hopefully get sap on Baramos. Ideally, also get off a surround to reduce his hit rate. But the problem is he puts out tons of damage. We can't just sit there and take it. So this first round, he puts out. You can see the damage is coming out already. An Infamous and an attack. So we got up. I didn't see where that hit, but we got a sap. Try to sap and surround. But we're also going to make use of the Iron Eyes spell here. So we're going to get our bike heals up here as well. Get another surround attempt. We got
Iron Zest, Kakeru 3. Iron Eyes 3.
Yes, so here we have, here Iron Eyes. So what we're doing here is Iron Eyes will block 6 of Baramos' actions. When you use Iron Eyes, you cannot be affected by anything. And so what this does is, every time we use Iron Eyes, we essentially move 2 steps back in Baramos' sequence. We're using that now to move to his Limbo turn, and we're going to hope and pray that Limbo does not connect. Limbo Connect sends the character back to Luisa's place, and we get in big trouble. So get out your Bless RNGs or whatever emotes you choose. We're gonna really hope that we're fine. Good. Limbo did not hit.
Fights.
And yep. So that was our final Iron Eyes, and hopefully we have one more Limbo. We survived it. All right, and we should be good. So basically, we just need to whack him down really hard. We've got about 3 turns to do it in before Baramos will kill us first. You see the damage is still coming out. Ooh. Oh, that's unfortunate. So the Confuse hit there. The Chaos spell. That's unfortunate, but hopefully we still have a couple of attackers. That was at least a more fortunate confusion action. Ooh, it's gonna be tight. Oh no! That's unfortunate. That was. It looked like it was going really well. We survived both of the Limbo hits, but that final chaos is what did us in. So, yep. As I mentioned, Baramos is a tough fight.
勇者にメダパニは一番かかっちゃいけないんです。
Yes, especially on the hero. Yeah, not only is one of our major damage dealers, hero also is one of our healers. Hero deals lots of damage, so if he's confused,
can wipe out party members as well. And I think we had one of those in the first turn. It's just the hero gets confused, we're in trouble. You know, some of the other characters, like the wizard gets confused, or the priest gets confused rather. It's not great, but it's not, you know, if we can get the damage out, you know, the healing isn't that important. Losing the damage and also losing the healing and losing is just, yeah, not a good time. But we were close, so we just need to do it again. And you know, Baramos, you know, he can try, but he's not going to be able to hold that for long. You know, we are going to save the world. We're going to do it right here.
Next challenge.いやー、このゲームで正真正銘一番強いのはバラモス。
ですね。Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. The strongest fight, the scary, really scary fight. It is fortunate that he has a fixed turn order, because without that, would be an experience. I could say that. Using our step guards to get over these barrier tiles. We don't want to lose any health before getting into Baramos. But here we go. Second first try. Pulling up the Iron Eyes here. Basically, we need to do our setup here on the turns that Baramos does the least damage to us. His other turns include combinations like Blaze Motion Fireball or Inframotion Fire. You know, basically even more damage than we're already seeing. See, we've already got some characters in real trouble here, so you have to kind of cross our fingers and hope that hopefully we can get this. So we're going to be going to a limbo turn now. The triple Iron Eyes sequence here, shifting from the Inframost and attack turn to the limbo and attack turn. And as long as limbo doesn't hit, the single attack is not that bad as things go in this fight. So it's probably the best. So it is kind of the best choice at this point for getting our last buffs up. Up in there. Try and throw a couple herbs on. No sap, it's unfortunate. Good. Limbo missed. One more Iron Eyes. One more limbo. Chaos to hopefully dodge. And
Lukaに入った。
Lukaに入った。So we've got a sap. We got a sap. And yep, here we go. It's our final Iron Eyes here into the attack. Again, using the parry glitch to reduce damage. And you see, still doing 54 damage through parry. Baramos is one tough fellow.
ここだったらまだ。エルシト死ぬか。
Well, that's
よっしゃー。世界行ったー。
Oh, we got it. We got him. Save the world. We did it. All right. Woo. GG's.
Thank you!
We've done it.
キングに話して操作終了。
Yep, just gotta talk to the king, and we will be done. That will be it.
フレンドが、ワイワイさんが、エイクさんが、カズーさんが、ウッキーがどうでもいいや。もう、そうだ。闇の世界。
Oh no! What's going on?
Just when I thought the world was a piece after defeating Brahmos, something so scary comes out and what happened to the world?
What happened? Oh no! What shall we do now?
Thank you.
So, surprise, that was not the end of the game. So yes, that's actually just a little bit of fun that the Japanese that little sequence there. We defeat Baramos, and it seems like we've saved the world, but all of a sudden, disaster strikes, and it just the Japanese runners just like to have a lot of fun, and it's fun watching them, I will say as well. So good stuff. ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
And we are on to the final stage of this run.
真面目に話すとちょっとゾーマが危ないですね。武闘家の HP が低い。
So we actually, maybe in a bit of trouble with Zoma, the actual final boss, because our fighter's HP is a little bit on the low side. All the stats in this game are randomized, both when you get the characters and when you level up. Ideally, you want to see lots of HP gains, because Zoma, like Baramos, deals out a lot of damage. Unfortunately, our fighter's HP ended up on the low side, so we're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope we get some good damage rolls. So if you played Dragon Quest I, a lot of these areas will look familiar, for good reason. This is, in fact, the land of Olive Guard, and we are going to do pretty much the same thing that we did in Dragon Quest I, which is create ourselves a rainbow drop, make our way to Charlotte Castle, and defeat the, well, not the Dragon Lord here, but something that's even more evil. You have to
祈りここで取ります。こっちの方が早いので。
Pick up. This is the mountain cave from Dragon Quest I. I'm going to be picking up an extra wizard's ring in here. Yep. So as I mentioned earlier, wizard's ring stores I believe 20 to 30 MP. Also has a 10% chance of breaking. So it's not. We don't want to have just one going into the final fight, because if it breaks, then we're in trouble. So pick up some spares as well. Hopefully, we don't get any breaks, but it's always a little nervous when you use. We're gonna still have this next turn. Or we're gonna be in trouble. Picking up that extra spare. I'm grabbing a chunk of Ore Halcom here.
王者の剣を買うのにお金が足りないので、ルビスの塔での中のお金を先に取ってきます。
はい。So the Ore to create the Sword of Kings, strongest sword in the game, also has the effect of Infamous when used as an item. It's just great sword all around, but costs a lot of money. And we don't have quite enough, so we're actually going to stop in Rubus's Tower first, grab some money from there, and then head over to Cole and create that sword. Again, world map is, I believe, slightly condensed from the original game, but it is effectively the same world map as Dragon Quest I Alfgard, and some things are moved around, obviously, because this is a slightly different point in time. But make a quick stop first. We are going to stop in Cole first to drop off the Orihhalcum. The way it works, this game doesn't have a like a trading system as like some later games do, so some games in other series. But what you do is you can sell the Orihhalcum to the item shop.
女だけ女だけ女だけ女だけよし
Oh boy, so yeah. Yeah, NPC movement is a thing in these games as well. Sometimes NPCs can just sit in doorways or sit in corridors and block you off. But we got lucky there. We are fine. So I was saying we will sell off the Orihhalcum here. And we do get... It seems like you get a lot of money from that. It is a lot of money. It's not nearly enough. The Sword of Kings, I believe, is 35,000, so we still have quite a bit that we need to make up. And so we're going to have to head over to Rubus' Tower first to make up that money. Which is not a problem. It's just doing things in a slightly different order. Finding all of the...
誰にどれだけ命を振るかちょっと悩んでます。3つしかないので。舞踏会一僧侶2でいきます。右がゴールド。左にミック。
Then grab a gold chest here. Don't want to grab the one on the left because that may look like a chest, but it's not what you think it is. It will give you a bad time. That second chest is actually a mimic, so very carefully skip that. Very important to know what you're doing in the speed run. Yeah, there's very little chance that we can do anything about a mimic here. So another. See, I've got 5 HP out of that. Every little bit helps. We'll take it. Again, picking up a little more gold. Just need to make up enough for that Sword of Kings. And final walk up to the Spirit of Rubus, who has one of the ingredients for the rainbow drop that we will need.
あ、すいません。
Yep.
ネス版とファミコン版のオルテガの画像が違うっていうのは結構有名な話ですか？
そうですね。まあ、知る人ぞ知るっていう感じかな。まあ、あまり、日本版を見ていない人も多いかもしれないので、そういう近くなったら説明しようと思います。
お願いします。
There's an interesting graphical difference that we'll point out when we get to that point later in the game. It's another side effect of how this version had more limited memory to point out when we get there. For the moment, we're going to make our way up to the top of this tower. This is where the Spirit of Rubus, another name that we see in the later games as well. Spirit of Rubus, nice bit of continuity there. Kind of watching over the world of Alfgard and its environs. using up our acorns of life there to just kind of boost our HP. As I mentioned, Zoma throws out tons of damage, so every bit of survivability we can add on is a big help in that final fight.
Oh, the mistake!
Oh no, did you do it? Did you do it? Oh no, you did it. You warped out too early, how could you? But actually, we're fine. The mysterious pyramids will serve in place. No worries.
Hey, ready? Okay.
Yeah. So that is just a fun little glitch in which you're supposed to use the fairy flute there to wake up the spirit of Rubus. As it happens, if you're in that room and you cast the outside spell, as long as you don't move, the game still thinks you're in that room, and so you can use the fairy flute and still wake up Rubus. But since you're outside, the game has no idea what to do about the sprite, and so you see pyramids instead, and it just looks funny. So, for those who are wondering what just happened there, there you go. Again, we picked up our Sword of Kings there. You see the 35,000, just had enough gold for that, and again, survivability is important. Every little bit of all the herbs we can get, we're going to pick up. There are rumors that herbs have other uses as well. But, we can think about that when we get there. For the moment, we just want the survivability. Grab that, and make our way down to the final bit of this quest for the Rainbow Drop.
Eh, 葉っぱは使ってないので、このままゾーマ城直行します。
So we still have, you remember, much revival item. We've managed to avoid using it this far, and so we're just going to head straight into Zoma once we have the Rainbow Drop. Straight into Zoma's castle. If you've used the leaf by this point, you obviously have the option to return back to the overworld and pick up another one. You can always pick up a leaf at that particular point if you don't already have one in your. But since we do, no need to go back. So, Crimson さん、
はい。
葉っぱ、レブルダールの中でも拾えるってことを知ってました？
はい、もちろん。
あ、
1枚あると拾えません。
まあそうですよね。So yeah, there's a funny little glitch. We're heading to we see the town of Rimildar. We have the option to stop in there. We were mentioning the leaf earlier. You can pick up on the overworld. There's an interesting glitch where if you stop at a certain point right just north of the town of Rimildar and search, you can also pick up a leaf. Again, if you don't have one already. It's I presume also by a Japanese runner. But as it happens, the internal coordinates, the numbers that the game uses to track where you are on the map, are exactly the same at that point in Alefgard as they are for the leaf point on the overworld, and the game doesn't think to check whether you're in the overworld or not. So at that specific point, you can pick up a leaf. You don't have to take that long trek back into the middle of the big forest. So if you do need the leaf, it is not nearly as big a detour as you would think. But since we have the leaf, we don't even need to bother. Just go straight in.
妖精の笛はエフェクトが長いのでなるべく使いたくないんですが、使わざるを得ないことがあるかもしれません。
So The Fairy Flute, you recall, if you've played Dragon Quest 1, you'll know that the Fairy Flute has the effect of putting golems to sleep. As happens, it works on these guys too. You see they look kind of like golems. It'll still work. The problem is its effect is just really, really long. We don't want to waste time with that, so hopefully we'll just be able to get these kills or limbos straight off.
Nice! Nice! Nice green!
Oh, nice! Right away, one limbo, one crit. Looks like this is going to be a nice, easy kill. Hanging in there, but not going to last long. Yep. So yeah, the turns out these granite titans are vulnerable to a number of status ailments. You know, sleep, we mentioned earlier. The regular sleep spell can work. Fairy's Flute is guaranteed. The limbo we saw earlier, limbo works. Defeat can work.
まずい。買いま
Oh
す。
dear. Okay, so yeah, no luck with any of the spells here. It looks like this is going to be a fleet battle. Yep. Oh, we got one limbo off, but yeah, you can see the length of that effect. But it is guaranteed to put them to sleep, so it makes the fight a lot safer. And just go through and dish out the damage and take care of it. So one more beer to go, and we'll be able to make our way forward.
効かない効かない両方効かない
Uh-oh. Those are very persistent titans here as well.
Okay.
No slow, no limbo.
Okay.
Okay, we got a limbo. Okay. Yeah, it's much easier to deal with one of them than to deal with two of them at the same time. So getting one of those limbos off is. We got through all three, and yeah, it's just down to the final boss rush.
最初のボスはオルテガです。
This name. Yeah, so we have some of you may think boss rush coming up. We actually have a 5 boss rush. The first one is actually on the previous floor, and you know, if you don't know why that is, you'll see when we get there. Let your imagination run wild to what might be waiting for us. First, we have the mystery maze. Oh, taking the short path, are we? Ah, there we go. Yeah.
諸刃の剣を取ります。
So we are gonna be getting the. I actually forget the name offhand. The double-edged blade, I think it is. Deals damage back to you when you use it when you attack it, but it's also very strong. Making our way down here. So if you recall the very beginning. The very beginning, we the story mentions the hero's father, Ortega. in the American version of this game, the English version, you see come to a battle and you see Ortega fighting King Hydra. We see that in this version too, but if you've played the English version, or in fact the Super Famicom version, you may be a little surprised at what you're about to see here.
Oh, my father is punch mask!
Here's our Ortega. So again, I suspect this is just they didn't have the memory for a Ortega specific graphic, but our Ortega is just another masked guy. So, Ortega, you're gonna cooperate with us. King Hydra, you're gonna cooperate. There is nothing we can do here except watch for. Oh, Ortega! Watch Ortega use heal all and like in the fight. Come on, Hydra! Come on, do it! Oh! Oh!あれは美味しかったですよね。美味しかった。
めちゃくちゃ美味しかった。
ヒロ頑張れ。This Ortega, I will say, is putting on a good show. Putting on a good show, but this is our first boss fight, and we can do as.
一番粘られました。
This is.
This is Ultra Strong Ortega.
Yes, that was a strong Ortega. That was one tough boss, I'll say. Yeah, so the first boss fight down. Fun fact about that fight, the fight is completely random. You can end in 2 turns, or as you just saw, it can take forever. But fun fact about that, it is actually it's mathematically impossible for Ortega to win that fight. Despite that, they actually put in dialogue, if Ortega wins, it says used up the last of his power and collapsed. But mathematically, Ortega just can't win. It's just not in the cards. Tough luck. So, picking up a few things. The Sage Stone, of course, very important. There's a lot of damage going to be coming our way.
Last battle.
And making our way down to the final floor.
正真正銘のファイナルマッチ。バラモスブロスが危険です。
So Hydra. So you got the Hydra coming up first. Our rematch from Ortega. But actually, Baramos Bomas is coming up right after this. It's probably the most dangerous of these 3. It's boss rush here before Zoma. So Hydra Hydra has strong attack. Also has Fire Breath. Fire Breath actually isn't too bad. We hope not to see too many attacks, especially too many double attacks. But for the most part, we can deal with Hydra. And it's just a matter of putting out the damage, especially since we have by kill. We have our Sword of Kings. We have the things we need to defeat King Hydra. The issue with Baramos Bomas, he has a lot more attacks. He's got he's got Infamous. He's got very strong spells. There's Hydra out, and just be a very tricky fight.
Fun fact, by the way, that he's his name Baramos Bomas in the English version of this game, but the Japanese one he is Baramos Bros, as in brother, the brother of Baramos. That unfortunately did not survive the localization, but fun little fact there. Healing up before our next fight, of course. And here we go.
Ibanazの大きい炎が痛い。痛いんだってそれが。次先行されたら死にます。
Oh, we may be in trouble here. Yeah,
Safe.
the double action there with the strong breath is trouble. Fingers crossed. Yep, well, we got the Sage Stone off, so that's something.
次先行されても死にます。
Oh no! This is the same turns we. It's Infamous and Breath. We need that Sage Stone to go first. We got Sage Stone. All right.
OK。
Nice, Kaishin.
ゾンビは
Well, Baramos Bone was just throwing out that breath, but we got through. That was You see why Baramos is scary. That especially that breath and
Nice
attack
HP.
is
Romeo, nice HP.
Oh, 14! That's nice HP. All right. Yeah, seeing those big HP gains here at the end is just a huge relief. So straight into Baramos Gonus, or Baramos Zombie, as the Japanese version calls him. Baramos Zombie is actually interesting. His agility stat is 0, so he has no defense, no speed, always goes last, but has an incredibly strong physical attack. However, since the only thing he can do is physicals, we just surround him and the fight becomes much easier. So that's why, if you're wondering why Crimson didn't bother healing going into this fight, it's because we're guaranteed first turn, just use Sage Stone, we're ready to go.
ファミコン版は、戦士は祈りの指は使えないので、味方から魔法取らします。
So interesting fact is that in the Japanese version, apparently, soldiers cannot use the Wizard's Ring to recover MP. It's just a feature of that job, since soldiers normally don't have MP. So instead, what we do is use the Rob Magic spell, essentially borrow MP from other party members. We just saw it there. Took, I think, about 10 MP from the priest over to the soldier. So it's not a huge amount, but it will hopefully be enough for the final fight. So we only have one more fight after this, and that is Zoma.
Final battle!
Yep. There we go. One more level. 6 HP always helps. Answering the question in chat, yes, double explode can happen on Momus. Baramos Momus has completely random action selection. If anything he can do twice in one turn. Exploded is bad, breath is bad, all the things are bad. But fortunately we got through. So here we go. Quick heads up, anyone who's photosensitive, there will be some strong flashing in a moment. Using the Sphere of Light here. So call that out. Yeah, there is about 10 seconds, 12 seconds of that. And the flashing is done. Into the Zoma fight. Even after using the Sphere of Light, it's still a tough fight, and it still has fantastic music. So the longer it goes on, the happier. I'm sure Crimson would like to have it done with as quickly as possible. Double. Actually, I guess that's not too bad. Double fire, ice breath, rather.
Yeah.
So also, fun fact:
You can heal Zoma and it damages him. So, other fun fact is that herbs don't have a damage range set, and so their damage is completely random. It can go all the way up to 255. Not that time. We did get a solid hit from the hero though. Ooh, nice. Ooh, wow. It's a good thing that first one's a freezing wave. Responding chat, I'm sorry the warning was a bit late. I guess maybe that my view of the stream may be a bit delayed. So apologies about that. But yeah. Ooh, that was one strong round.
Recovery.
Ice breath is good. Double ice breath is fine. We got the leaf off. Still good. So, uh-oh. Ooh. This is the week. Yeah, it's gonna be tight. You get the second leaf off, that's good. Yeah, just as a reminder, Zoma. So we do have to be getting out this HP as we getting out the damage as we go, even as we're trying to recover. So this is one reason Zoma is just such a tough fight, and yes, Crimson's now out of leaves. Used both of his leaves. Gotta hope for some good rounds here. Again, using Rob Magic to grab some MP from the hero over to the Magic Soldier.
これは痛い。前をやめて。危ね。死ね。ガチー。
Nice.
Ah!
GG.
Thank you.
And that.
ああ、最後の武闘家攻撃が当たってたら終わってた。
GG。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ただ、SRC 的にはこの後継続期間が、勇者ロトよって言われたところなので、そこに行くまでの間に、女性が一人邪魔してくるので、そこをかわせるかどうかも、若干問題ではあります。
Interesting difference, by the way, between Japanese and Western time here. We're going to continue the timing and Western timing. At the Japanese time for a lot of Japanese power till the end appears on the screen. But for this particular game, they actually stop timing when Zoma is defeated. Whereas for Western runs, typically run until the final input, which is pressing A on the final dialog box. Which will be coming up in just a bit, because as with most Dragon Quest games, even after you defeat the Great Evil, you still have to go back and do our victory lap, if you will. A report on our great deeds to the King of the Land.
業務連絡なんですけど、
はい。
エンディング歌ってもいいですか？
あ、歌ってください。
はい。
どうぞ。So, final trip back. Fingers crossed.
さあ、右の女、どんどんムー、はいはいはいはいはいはい。ナイス。
Winning on the NPC RNG. Good stuff. That one lady has a tendency to get in your way if you try to take the short path on the right side of that fountain.
22025.
Yeah, it seems like my stream is delayed. I'm sure the timer will stop at the right time. You know when to do it. We just passed it on my stream, but yep. Looks like Crimson got a 2:20:20 on his timer. And GG, yeah, good run. おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。Thank you for streaming.
Yeah.
Thank you for watch streaming.
Yeah. Thank you all. Obviously, thanks to the organizers for sorting this out. We're gonna go ahead and let the ending play. Yeah, there was apparently some issue with music rights on Japanese streams, and that's why they stopped timing through the end. But yeah, to the best of my knowledge, that is not an issue here. And so we're just going to let this play through. So kind of the quick ending credits. And Chris is actually going to prize for you in a moment as we go into the final credits sequence. But yeah, that's definitely GG. That was a solid run. I hope you all.
唇を噛みしめたとき魂燃やしてもう一度戦うと誓うどこかできっと誰かが愛の言葉を待ってる何もいらない強くなりたい光り輝く大地を目指して青空に耳を澄ませば振り向くなもう二度と夢に見た微笑みを胸にどこかできっと誰かが愛の自由への道求める早く会いたい笑い合いたい溢れる想い導く世界へ唇を噛みしめたとき魂燃やしてもう一度戦うと誓う ありがとうございました。
いいですね。ありがとうございました。Yeah. Thank you for the wonderful singing. Thank you for the run. Fantastic job, Crimson. Yeah, it is a great game. If you're thinking that Dragon Quest III is a great game and you want to see more, number one, you're right, it is a great game. And number two, we actually have a race of Dragon Quest III Super Famicom version in, I think, about 9 hours from now. So this evening, if you're in the Western Hemisphere time zone. But right after this, I believe we have Dragon Quest I coming up. So definitely stick around for that. And all of the Dragon Quest runs that will be coming up over the rest of the weekend. Yeah, this has been a great run. I'm happy to have helped out with commentary. I hope I've helped make it enjoyable for you. And yeah, let the credits finish up. And thanks again to Crimson for the great run.
はい、なんでしょう。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。このような機会を、与えていただきまして本当にありがとうございました。緊張しましたけど楽しかったです。
And from Crimson also, thank you very much for giving me the chance to present this run to you. I was very nervous throughout the run, but I enjoyed it a lot. And I will say from Vaxford, Crimson did a fantastic job. The nervousness didn't show at all. It looked like you were having tons of fun. And ultimately, that's what it's all about. Just having fun, enjoying yourself. Good stuff. ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。